สวัสดีค่ะ and welcome back to At Burn Insight here on GBN Station with me กรกนก นิชิตพันธ์ reporting to you all the latest news on Buddhism from around the world. Thai government banned sales of alcoholic beverages in all 77 provinces in Thailand on Asanha Busha Day. Thai government had banned sales of alcoholic beverages in all 77 provinces in Thailand during two Buddhist holidays, Asanha Busha Day and the start of Buddhist Lent. Asanha Busha Day is a public holiday in Thailand, marking the day when the Lord Buddha delivered his first sermons at Benares in India over 2,500 years ago. The exact date of the holidays is determined by the waxing moon and the lunar months, but is usually held in July or August. The Buddha preached his first sermon at a deer park, and from this sermon, the Dhamma or doctrine of the Buddha was symbolized as a wheel. The Dhammachakra is also known as the wheel of life, wheel of law, or wheel of doctrine, and can be seen on flags in temples and buildings all across Thailand. Similarly, pictures or models of a deer can be often seen at temples or in depictions of the Buddha. And thank you to Tiger for the news. Let us see how the people in Thailand mark Asanha Busha Day amid the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. Buddhists and monks actively join Buddhist Lent activities at temples in a new normal way, being required to have body temperatures checked and wear face masks. In that province, many Buddhists went to Wat Pailom to listen to sermons and traditionally donate Buddhist Lent candles, light bulbs, and robes to monks. In Uttaradit province, village-based health volunteers check the temperatures of visitors at Wat Taling Tam. They also require visitors to sanitize their hands with alcohol gel. Face masks were handed out to visitors who did not wear a face mask to the crowded temple. Volunteers also advised visitors to observe social distancing while donating candles and monks' robes. And special thanks to Thai News Agency. We are still in Thailand for the updates on Asanha Busha Day activities. Let's take a look. At the municipal fresh market in Pitit, a large number of people brought Lent candles, offerings, inner garments, and yellow robes for making merit of Asanha Busha Day and Buddhist Lent Day. Although affected by recent COVID-19 limitations on community life, most people were still able to buy as many offerings as last year. The operator of a shop selling offerings at the market said this year's sales are no different from the previous year, and most buyers are regular customers. In Khon Kaen, although people continue to buy Lent candles to be offered to a temple, if compared to last year, the number is down by half. The operator of an offering shop in the city said it had been expected that COVID-19 would affect the economy, but the shop is still selling Lent candles at the same price as in the previous year. At Nong Wang Pa'aram Ruang Temple, Khon Kaen Province, people from other provinces also visited the temple to pay respects to the Lord Buddha's relics inside the chapel. They also made offerings and gave Lent candles to the monks before traveling to various tourist spots. The temple has maintained strict screening measures, including body temperature measurement, scanning by the Thai Chana QR code, and keeping a distance from one another. At Wat Jet Yod Pa'aram Ruang Temple, Mueang Chiang Mai District, Chiang Mai Province, a Buddhist Promotion Week on the occasion of Asanha Busha Day and Buddhist Lent Day 2020 has been held. People participated in a big cleaning activity and cleaned the area around the temple. And thank you National News Bureau of Thailand. We are now entering the rains retreats, which means it's time for the famous Candle Festival in Ubon Ratchathani Province, Thailand. This year, Ubon Ratchathani Candle Festival 2020 marks the start of the 3-month Buddhist Lent period and is a tradition that has been unique to the city for over 100 years. While this year's traditional parade has been cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak, the festival has moved its program in line as a preventive measure during the ongoing pandemic and it remains a key annual event on the Tourism Authority of Thailand's calendar. It is scheduled from 3rd to 7th July 2020 at the Thung Si Mueang area of Ubon Ratchathani Municipality, and will still include a display of award-winning candles from 2019, both large and medium-sized carvings for the public to view and enjoy. However, participation is limited. Pre-booking online is required to attend the festival with a limit of 2,500 per day during 3 time slots. Ms. Thanaporn Poonpum, Director of the TAT Ubon Ratchathani office, said TAT recognizes the importance of the event to Ubon Ratchathani as the country begins to open to travel with significant changes. Although this year, since the Ubon Ratchathani Candle Festival 2020 cannot be held fully as in years past, it is important to remember the traditions of the Ubon Ratchathani Candle Festival. So, TAT has invited everyone to post past images to remember the time-honored traditions from this famous festival. Through social media from the beginning of June until 7 July 2020, under the concept of คิดถึงเทียนคิดถึงอุบลราชธานี or Missing the Candle Festival, Missing Ubon Ratchathani, the initiative has run over 5 weeks with 5 different activities. This include virtually visiting candle-making communities, candle carving, candle categories, antique candles, and images of past candle parade events that receive the most votes each week. And thank you Pattaya Mail for the updates. Next, historians at University of Chicago and teachers in Afghanistan are working together to save Buddha's artifact. Let's take a look. Some of the earliest statues of the Buddha are among precious items housed at the National Museum of Afghanistan. But the U.S. estimates that nearly 70% of the treasures have been looted from the museum or destroyed during 4 decades of war or under strict Taliban rule. Now historians at University of Chicago and teachers in Afghanistan are working together to preserve what is left of this cultural heritage. According to Lines Roars, in the centuries following the Buddha's death, around 500 BCE, one of the first great expansions of his teaching was westward into a vast area that includes parts of Kashmir, the Punjab, modern-day Pakistan, and northern Afghanistan. This area was centered on the great district of Gandhara, whose capital, Purushapura, is today the Pakistani city of Peshawar. It is thought that Buddhist missionaries first ventured into Gandhara not long after the Buddha's death, but it wasn't until 250 years later, during the dynasty of Emperor Ashoka, that Buddhism would flourish there. Ashoka's grandfather was founder of Maurya dynasty and made this region part of his realm. Ashoka served there as a young man, and when he later converted to Buddhism, he worked with great fervor to spread the Dharma in this region, for which he had a special affection. And special thanks Al Jazeera News. Last week, the people in America celebrated the Independence Day with fireworks and parades. But have you ever wondered what is the true independence? And today, Venerable John will be sharing you his point of view.
True Independence Day is the day when many nations commemorate their declarations of independence from other countries. The history of many sovereign states have begun with the hope that peace is going to prevail and everyone in the countries would live happily together without being oppressed by other countries or by their own tyrannic government. Truth be told, many nations after their independence are still facing different kinds of struggles. While the threats are not from outside nations, internal conflict, injustice, corruption, hate speech, and unfairness still occur within the country, causing social inequity and allowing a small group of people to have more authority than majority of them. Can we call this phenomenon true independence? The craving for power will repeatedly shift the control from a group of people to another group, creating endless stories in history books that will never stop repeating itself. The feeling of I'm more superior than the rest will likely make people with more power seek control in terms of financial and social exploitation over those whom they think inferior. A hero may emerge to seize the power back, but once the power is in his or her hands, will the heroes able to stay in control without misusing it? These innumerable occasions are what we have seen in both film and reality. Isn't it similar to the Lord of the Rings that grants supreme power and corrupts people's minds at the same time? Or the Iron Throne that brings countless conflicts to claimants for successions to it to gain total control? People with different views can also be regarded as enemies. To make matters worse, a person, once a hero, can also turn into a bad guy, trying to prevent others to get close to his or her supreme power. The feeling of wanting to be more superior to the rest blinds their eyes, preventing people to see themselves how they have changed. What if I'm here to tell you today that humans never really gain independence from something controlling their mind after all? There are three mental viruses that make people crave endlessly, get annoyed and angry easily, and become sometimes unreasonably stubborn. These viruses are like malicious software that causes the computer to malfunction. If we are to compare ourselves as robots, we are the ones that never have autonomous or really self-control. Similarly, it's like when you are in a self-driving car that refuses to drive straight but rather pulls to one side, left or right, potentially causing accidental damages. Will you fight with other cars who exactly is the cause of an accident? Or will you try to fix the software of your self-driving car and make sure that it drives safely first? There are only a handful group of people who will fix the software first, while the majority are trying to lay blame on others. True independence is when we are not under the control of these viruses. We must gain independence from craving endlessly for more and more refined pleasure. This can be fixed by practicing generosity. Instead of feeling satisfied by having more than others, satisfaction should come from seeing everyone having what they really need equally. Once we can define the line, what needs and wants are for us, we can share what we have more to others. We must also gain independence from anger. This can be fixed by loving kindness practice. Instead of feeling satisfied when our enemies or competitors suffer, satisfaction should come from wanting people either happy or suffering alike to have more peace in their lives. We can begin by seeing little goodness in everyone around us, as if the love of a mother that can forgive any mistakes her children have made and always give them more chances. We must finally gain independence from delusion. This can be fixed by meditation practice that ultimately will purify the mind. Instead of feeling satisfied, being attached to the belief that we are always right and others are always wrong, satisfaction should come from being able to accept reality. In fact, there is no satisfaction that is more superior than the mind filled with bliss from the stillness within. Once we find such satisfaction, there is no more egotism we are attached to anymore. We can willingly throw the ring to volcano and feel satisfied just by being our ordinary self. The world perhaps needs no more people who are trying to save it, but it needs a lot more people who are willing to save themselves. And that's the true independence we all hope one day will become a reality.
And for more amazing video like this, make sure to like and subscribe Venerable John YouTube channel, Mind Stories. Let us end our insight with the Lord Buddha's Dharma quote. He who, having abandoned sensual pleasures, has renounced the household life and become a homeless one, has destroyed both sensual desire and continual existence. Him do I call a holy man. He who, having abandoned craving, has renounced a household life and become a homeless one, has destroyed both craving and continual existence. Him do I call a holy man. He who, casting off human bonds and transcending heavenly ties, is wholly deliverer of all bondages. Him do I call a holy man. เข้าพรรษา or rain retreats is a 3-month period where the monks stay at the temple to practice meditation, and I would like to invite all lady devotees to practice meditation during this rain retreat as well. It's time for us to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. See you again next week. สวัสดีค่ะ